Hello, beautiful lovers, and welcome back to another episode of Erotic Wisdom, the fascinating wonderment to be living in a body. I am Mrs. Love, your host, and today the Laboratory of Love is in a very, very special, stunning space in Clovelly, nearby Cape Town, and I am in Reto headquarters, overlooking the fantastic ocean, sitting with the beloved, beautiful Reto. Ciao, Reto.
Ciao, amore. How are you? It's such an honor to be here with you. I'm a little bit nervous, actually. Or excited, maybe. But I just love the fact that we are sitting here in my beautiful space. I get to sit with you, having had such a long relationship with you. It's so lovely to find a moment for us just to connect like this. I love that.
Yeah.
And of
Thank
course,
you.
we're sitting by my famous black Christmas tree
That's
in
it.
black.
That's it.
Exactly.
Reto is the lover of black. Only him. I have to say that I came to see him the other day, and I've been so cynic about all this plastic tree that I keep seeing in people's houses. And then I came here to your studio and I saw a black plastic tree.
Yeah.
Suddenly, the plastic tree was on.
Yeah, right? All of a sudden was like, oh my God, I have to have a black Christmas tree, right? Exactly.
See.
Esatto. Yeah. No, because, talking about Christmas trees quickly, having grown up in Switzerland, right, in the Alps, the Christmas trees are, of course, real, magnificent, beautiful. That's really what Christmas is about.
That's where they come from.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they're covered in snow and, they're real. And I remember the smell because we use real candles as well, of course.
Yeah.
There's and Christmas has an essence, a scent to me, you know what I mean? Because the Christmas tree starts to have this amazing, because of the heat of the candles, the essence, the scent of the tree fills your lounge.
Yeah.
So having lived in South Africa now for 30 years, I kind of feel like I haven't had Christmas for 30 years, really, that kind of thing. But when I saw this black Christmas tree, I was like, Reto, Christmas is back on.
Something steered you.
Yeah, because I thought I could do that, but otherwise, no way.
It's also like mourning Christmas in a way. And so therefore, then it's okay. We can, because in South Africa, I agree with you, I also grew up in the Northern Hemisphere.
Yes.
And there is something that applies to the snow because it's really cold. Father Christmas has a place because it's cold and he's wearing a warm garment.
That's right.
And there is real snow in the trees, so there is something, the environment applies. And then I'm here in South Africa, 28 degrees on Christmas days, and there is this
pool, right?
there's this poor dude in the shopping mall sitting dressed up as Father Christmas, sweating like crazy. We are there in flip-flop, bare feet, vests. And I'm thinking, what the fuck are we doing?
Right.
It's so foreign. It's really
so
absurd.
Bizarre, right.
And yet, it's almost like there is a part of our brain that doesn't want to think real.
Yeah.
And we want to hook into an illusion of something other.
Yeah.
Which of course is that the Western tradition are better than the African tradition. Is the deep engraved colonization mentality that over there is better than here. And actually what Christmas brings to Africa is consumerism.
Completely.
This white baby Jesus we know in truth Jesus was more olive skinned and white.
Exactly.
But we also pretend to ignore those which are fact.
Exactly.
Very well known in history.
We're very good at ignoring facts.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Right.
And we get stuck with this illusion of this white man with a beard who look like God, white Christian God. And what does he do in Africa, in South Africa? He doesn't belong here. He never did. This is the big white man that came and pointed finger at the tradition here, created apartheid in a sense,
totally,
and enslaved people, and even all these revolutionary freedom fighter hippies. Comes Christmas, we forget everything.
Exactly, we lose our shit.
And we go into this loop. We lie to our children because that's what we do. And that was my biggest struggle when my child was small, because she was going into an environment where there was the belief system of Father Christmas, and I could see how it was a magical idea that she was thriving with, and that's what everybody was telling her. And I knew that if I would tell her differently, I was also responsible to blow the bubble for everybody at school.
That's
I would
right.
have 25 kids,
Can you imagine?
parents,
Can you imagine the
revolving against me.
Exactly.
Annette, I need to tell you something.
Yes, exactly.
And it's a fine line, because you don't want to burst the magic. You want to be because a big revolution, you can't put the revolution in the hand of a little child.
No, you see, you
It's
can't.
too big for them
That's
to
right.
hold.
Yeah.
But I used to go to bed at night, suffer. I had my personal
Issues,
dose of
yeah.
suffering, thinking what I am actually lying to my own
Yeah.
child. I'm
Yeah.
feeding her a story is absolutely untruth. And magic exists. I believe in
Oh,
magic.
totally, me too,
Not
100%.
that that's only believed with Father Christmas.
No.
I can still talk about there is the magic of living in a human body, for example.
Exactly.
Exactly. The magic of the mystery of the unknown. There is the magic of people living in the silence of the wind. Fairy exists. I do believe in them. I do believe people whisper to us from the mystery in our dreams.
Exactly.
I believe in all of that.
Yeah.
But somehow this big fat white man with a
Doesn't
big
fit in
beard,
there, right? Yeah.
wearing woolen clothing, it's like fuck. I mean, it's
How
crazy.
do I fit this into my magic?
And it's
exactly.
absolutely unsexy. That
Yeah,
was
very-
the hardest thing to do.
Very unsexy.
I can't believe
Yes.
in a sexy greenhouse, like living
exactly.
with the trees
Yes,
in harmony.
exactly.
Half naked because the weather
Right.
asked for that, and because
Correct, right.
dressed in leaves,
Yes.
The phone, I believe that, they are so magical and erotically wise. I want to listen to what they've got to say because they're harmonizing with their environment.
Well,
So there is something they know. I don't know yet because I'm not a tree. If I want to know about the wisdom of the tree, I'm going to listen to someone that make love to the tree.
Well, exactly.
And flow with them. But I mean, Father Christmas for me is quite disconnected. But if I would live in Siberia, where everybody has a beard to keep them
That's
warm,
right.
has the big clothing, they fat because the
Yes,
body fat
that's right.
keeps you warm.
That's right.
There is a reason
Exactly.
to have that.
That's right.
Then maybe I would,
Yeah.
So Father Christmas, no sexy at all.
No, we can definitely agree on that. Okay.
So I think I'm losing the thread, but I'm coming back. Your black Christmas tree, when I saw it, remind me like burn Christmas down. Fuck it, Let's, it really was somehow in this morning of what we had in Europe that we're not having right here.
Yeah.
So let's be very clear about it. And in a sense, this is like the cemetery of Christmas.
Yes.
It really makes an awareness. That's an illusion and we're not having it.
That's right.
And that's the symbol. It's like the cremation ground of that illusion.
Yeah.
Once we got that, okay, now we can celebrate
Well, exactly,
Christmas.
exactly.
Our
whatever
own
it
way.
is, exactly. And that's exactly what we did because I've got two beautiful girls, and by the time the little one became like 14, we deleted Christmas as we knew it, and that was the year we got the black tree, because this consumerism, this bullshit, all this stuff. And we then decided to, the gifts became minimal. It came down to one each. And it was really more about spending time with each other than, this overwhelming bullshit of, going out and rushing around and
eating
stuff
and then
eating
getting
too much.
sick of too much eating.
Yes, and now we do, light meals. We do Christmas Eve because you can eat a light meal beautiful in the evening. But these Christmas lunches, what is that? But anyway, may everyone celebrate Christmas their own way.
This. Delete
but for
Christmas.
us, delete Christmas, find your own way to celebrate, and really, it's about the people that are in your life, not what you give them.
Yeah.
Right? So that's
And also there was a beautiful ritual that one of my friends brought on in these days when we had the small children, we were living together. And she read somewhere to educate the children that at Christmas, you have to find someone that you know or that you see every day. You might not know them personally. It could be your neighbor, could be the bus driver, could be the man at the shop. And you can notice one of needs that she has.
That's right.
So my daughter noticed that the man that worked in our garden had a hole in his cap. in his hat.
Right.
Not that he's a big deal. He's not a poor man at all, but he's just coming every day and he's wearing his beret. And she says it was a hole, and she thought maybe we'll buy him a new hat. And so that was the Christmas tree that you give. And in theory, the way my friend also designed it, that they must not know where it comes from. So you can see,
so
like the story was
right.
that this boy noticed that the neighbor, every time he'd pick up milk that was left in the shore, he would walk out with slipper that were completely worn out. He needed a new slipper.
Right.
And so the boy went and bought new slipper and threw them over the fence, packed up with like anonymous present.
I love that.
And then he started notice that then in the new year, the guy came to collect the milk with the new shoes on, and he never knew where they come from. So also this anonymity. So it's not ego related. I give you a present that and that's the thing with gift. That tells a lot about who gives them.
Exactly.
Not about you that are receive them.
Exactly.
I always dreaded opening Christmas presents. I don't like opening presents because 85% of the time I didn't like them. I didn't need them. Right. I didn't want them.
Right.
It's like I don't wear any jewelry. If someone knows me, would know that. Right. And then I would have the classic relatives that gives you the necklace. And it's like, okay, you wanted to buy this necklace. You didn't want to buy it for me.
Exactly.
This says everything about you. And then I would go home with this bag of stuff, obsolete things that now they're going to occupy my space.
Right.
And I have to do something with them.
Yeah.
And I have to put them out, otherwise you get offended. I mean, there is so much superficial strings attached with this culture of gift giving that also I feel we need to delete.
Yes.
Stop. Really stop.
Yeah.
And so my suggestion to everybody, hey, buy yourself a black Christmas tree.
Exactly. Yes, exactly.
Get into a new culture.
And have I think a realignment of what it is about.
And that I saw someone also making, this Black Friday again, these other fucking American things that we all take it on. Where is another go buy more bullshit, use the money that you've earned your whole year, spitting sweat and blood, making sacrifice, not seeing your beloved because you're working so hard. And what you do with the money at the end of the year? Buy shit.
That's right.
It's like, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
And so I think Black Friday should be again, delete Christmas and buy nothing day.
Exactly.
No,
I agree.
And,
I totally agree.
Stay home and meditate the darkness.
Yes.
Black Friday.
Yeah, exactly. And spend no money on that Friday. Exactly. Especially not online. Especially not online.
So bizarre. So anyway, we went straight into this beautiful conversation. And but I want to introduce you, Rhett, a little bit. And why are you being a selective guest of this My Erotic podcast?
Right.
And because, yes, you said it, we've been having a very long-standing relationship. I think I know you for about 20 years.
It must be at least.
And well, my daughter is 10, and so we were knowing each other when she was still not even a speck in the star of my future sky.
Exactly.
So 15 years for sure.
For
Give and take another couple.
Yes.
And so you say, I've been in South Africa 22 years.
Right.
You just say 30 years.
That's right.
And Reto is a designer. And he's an artist in the way he expressed life. And so therefore he's a tantrika, because I said before, tantrika really artists of life.
That's
and
right.
To be in your presence is to be naturally inspired, whatever you do. And so that for me is the sign of the tantric.
Right.
To really take the challenge of life as your canvas. And okay, I'm here, I've got this body, I've got time, what am I going to do with it?
Exactly.
Make art.
Exactly. Exactly.
And so art, Reto mainly works with hair.
Right.
So that's when I said I'm in Reto headquarter, HQ
Right.
Reto.
Yes.
It is a hairdresser. I'm trying to see what's the name. HQ can stay for hair.
Well, you see, it's HQ stands literally for headquarter, right?
Yeah.
Corporately kind of vibe. But I work from the way the headquarter started was because it's headquarter, heart quarter, hand quarter, and hair quarter.
That's what I wanted to know. I knew there was something more to just the HQ. You're never just so linear.
So we kind of like, headquarter is cool because it's kind of like, you work with the head, the area. But
it's also a hard quest.
Exactly. And, to maybe explain to you a little bit more where that all comes from is because I do these beautiful, beautiful workshops that are now really coming to fruition and have taken a long time of percolating within myself and coming to the forefront now in real kind of aligning in strength and in purpose and in kind of... So it's a workshop really, it has evolved past just for hairstylists. It's for humans that want to find their creativity, their tantric energy to express themselves. They, if they need to reconnect with it, or if they feel like they've lost it, or if they want to find that way of expressing self.
Yeah.
So that's where the head, heart, hand, hair quarter comes in.
Beautiful.
And within the space that we've created here is really about total comfort, total uniqueness, total sense of escape from the world, escape from your daily routines. And our connection is through hair, so that's kind of our commercial kind of link into the world, entry point, exactly. So yes, you do, the way in is via a hair appointment, but your way out is
everything.
Exactly.
Deconstructed
from that.
With a black Christmas tree in your hand.
Exactly.
And your place also, I want to say, is full of your sculpture.
Right.
And so and painting. And I want to add this piece that you enter here and it's like a sanctuary. But also, every time I drive past, and everybody that lives in the South Peninsula might know this spot because it's on the corner of Clovelly Road. And if you're driving from Fishhook on the way to Cork Bay or Muizenberg, you drive past Reto headquarters, and you might have noticed is on the first floor and there is a big glass window, and when you drive with the car you can see inside this beautiful painting of this beautiful naked woman. Is massive, and she offers herself to you that are outside in your world, in your mind, in your story, going from A to B.
That's right.
The ocean is in one side, and this beautiful body of naked woman, this naked wisdom, just gives herself to you. It's so delicate and gentle, it's not aggressive, it's through art, and it's so inspiring. And I just want to tell you this. I don't know if other people tell you, but I feel this place offers itself to the world. And this always happens when we follow through attraction to what we do. We're doing it for ourselves first. It's a must.
It's a must.
You can't do it for the other first. Then you're bypassing self.
That's right.
That's bullshit. That's an illusion, and then you are empty and you give in blah blah. So, but when you really give from self, it means you explore self. Then whatever you do, it's unfolds in plenty ways that are unknown to us, actually. Like you do this, you create this for you sitting here.
That's right.
Must be beautiful for you.
It is. It is.
And therefore, it's beautiful and feeds everybody outside there, unknown to you.
Totally.
And that's through gifting culture. You know. And so that I wanted to feed back.
Well, thank you.
And then we can add to your sanctuary all your sculpture. So you can tell us about your sculpture.
So I've been sculpting for many, many years. I mean, I think starting as a child, it was two-dimensional. I loved to draw. I was always the child in the classroom that was doodling and was getting into trouble for, and projects. The front cover was sensational. The content may be a bit weak, but the front cover, I tell you, it was, framed and color, and there was kind of
attention to
detail and beauty. Because I have discovered since that I'm here to make this place a beautiful place, or to add beauty to this journey, to this world. The kind of butterfly feeling, that kind of, just touch, whatever I touch. I think when I leave, it's just that little bit more beautiful, and that's the way it's been, and that's been my language, and also growing up as a dyslexic child, reading and writing was catastrophe. So my world became pictures, not words.
How
so much.
Beautiful.
So for me, the world is all about three-dimensional form, like myself, right?
Yeah.
Took me longer to find it, I always say my body's been a bit like Airbnb, property for hire. I mean, I have this ability to escape through my crown chakra very easily, and sometimes leave my body a bit abandoned at times.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's been quite an interesting. Now turning 50, I find like I'm finding my way home.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think my sculpting, so from two-dimensional, it became three-dimensional. And of course, at 16, I started my apprenticeship, right? So now I'm working with three-dimensional shapes as in hair, So now I'm adding a three-dimensional form onto a human, onto a being. And that's been a very interesting journey that I have been working with women now, or on with for 35 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I mean, as I said, sculpture, I suddenly remember you sculpting hair.
Exactly.
Lots of your hairdressing show. I've seen videos when you work overseas.
Yes.
You sculpting hair is a show. It's spectacular. It's not just making women pretty and cutting hair
that's right.
and do color and it's like you do clay, you do material on head. I mean, it's mesmerizing. It's so beautiful.
Wow, thank you.
Because it's living sculpture,
Totally. Exactly. Well, I think there's a. I've realized that it's amazing. We do what we do, right? And it's an evolution, right? And you study, or you do, it just becomes because you do it for so long, you get better and better and better. Hopefully,
Mastery.
right? That's the idea. Exactly, mastery, right? And one day you wake up and you go, well, actually, maybe what I do is unique. Do you know what I mean? Without being cheesy about it.
It's my thing. It's unique to me.
Exactly. And the only way that I can express myself is my way.
Yeah.
Right? So that's when my work really started to change. Because I think, when you go into the realm of working with the public, I think there's a lot of a people-pleasing energy that gets you into that world to start with. Yeah. That's a little bit my philosophy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Even to please our teacher.
Well, exactly.
The one you learn from, and then you want to show them how well you've learned.
It maybe starts with your parents, and then it goes to your master, or your teacher, your boss, your whatever.
Teacher, your boss.
And then, for me, transferred to my clients. So it made me really good at what I do because I want to please. Right? Of course, the payoff is that, you love me and you think I'm fantastic. We understand that. There's always an exchange. I show up for a reason, right? Yeah. And for me, that became when I realized that how I touch hair, how I touch you when I do your hair, how I connect with you, that's my uniqueness. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's then when I realized that the sculptor in me really woke up. So that's when I started to go into working with clay, with porcelain, with resin, with, I just find, so in other words, the expression comes from the same place, but my medium changes. Yeah. That's where I felt like I needed to shake it up. I needed to create tension. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Because if it gets too comfortable, it gets comfortable. Yeah. And then it's done.
Yeah, the art dies.
Exactly, because you see, it becomes a sense of maintenance and not creativity.
And then it's just a job.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think we all, I would say there's a part of my day that is a job. You know what I mean? There is a part. I mean, I'm not standing up here, oh my God, every fucking hour I'm creating this thing that the world has never seen before. But the way I do it, and I think that's the spirituality, that's the sensuality of the connection. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So I might be doing your hair, but I'm actually having an exchange of love and light and energy with you while I do your hair. I mean, it's often a byproduct of the session. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I mean, every time I come and also speak with people, you you're quite well known after 30 years in Cape Town. We can say
Yeah, we
famous.
can say,
You're
famous.
Just
Yeah.
whisper it. But women are always so stoked when there is the word reto. They all go, oh, reto. And there is the big smile and they touch their heart. And because they get touched by you, not just their hair, but their essence. They feel seen, they feel revealed.
Exactly.
And there is a bigger session, where they expose themselves. They might tell you a secret. I mean, we know the conversation at the hairdresser. It's always the most secret one.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
I remember when I was a kid, we were in Italy, and there was the hairdresser down the road. He was serving the community just around us.
Totally.
And we got burgled once in the apartment block. And my mother blamed my grandmother that goes to the hairdresser all the time, and she talks about everything because that's what these women do at the hairdresser.
Exactly.
And she must have gave out too many details, and she must have said too many things, and our secret got exposed and we got burgled. They probably knew the number of the code. Because she blamed it on the chat at the hairdresser.
Exactly, because someone must have been sitting in there hearing.
Because there is this thing when we at the hairdresser, something more happened for women.
Exactly.
And we were speaking before about it. You were telling me how the symbol of hair for a woman, it's so vulnerable because we have a bad hair day. Many women don't want to go out of their house. They feel so vulnerable.
That's right. Well, you see, it's a kind of, it goes back to that like Samson and Delilah, that power in the hair, because your hair is fundamentally a manifestation of your ego.
Yeah.
Right? So like I always say, your hair is your most private choice, but your most public display of self.
Yeah.
And that in its own is such a, there's such a contradiction in that, because, my consultations, for example, my connection with my client when she walks in is, that's the most important moment of the session, is the beginning. Do you know what I mean? That connection. And it's such a beautiful, detailed moment. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then, of course, there's a process of labor, and then magic, or magic and labor, or labor and magic.
What happened?
Do you know what I mean?
Tell me why.
The
very first moment, what happened?
How often do you go into a space and someone has their hands on your head? Boom.
Yeah.
Just that alone. Yeah. We maybe shake hands, where I come from, we shake hands.
Yeah.
Very safe distance.
Yeah.
Where you come from, we hug, right? Italians hug.
Yeah.
Here, there's a mixture of both. I love that. I must say, there's a beautiful kind of physicality about South Africa. I feel there's a, you know what I mean. As much as we have maybe
it's
a bit,
warm.
It's warm. It's welcoming. It's warm. It's loving.
It's not British.
Exactly. It's not kind of this Eurocentric kind of, Nordic kind of coldness or protection.
Yeah.
And I find that quite amazing, considering that we live so unsafely.
Yeah.
We still push past that. I love that.
It's that polarity.
Exactly. So, but that boom, I'm there. I'm on your crown chakra. I'm in there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I always hug you when you arrive. I'm the most hugged person on the planet.
But as you're speaking like this, what comes in my mind, it's true. I sit there, you touch my hair, and you talk to me.
You're right.
And your finger are stroking my head.
Exactly.
And it's light and gentle, and we look at each other in the mirror.
Exactly.
And we're talking, so there is eye connection, and that's what I actually do in session, also as a tantrika.
Right.
And people also has this tremendous projection that we have sex.
Right.
We engage in sexual practices, erotic, highly erotic, nakedness, and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But the majority of the time, 93%, I'm bad with percentage.
Yes,
95, I don't know. A lot. The time I'm in session, all happen while I'm holding a head of a grown-up, especially men, even in my case, more than women.
Yeah.
And I just stroke their head, and I like this, the hair, gently.
That's right.
Like a child, because that's what our mother used to do.
Well, exactly.
And these people, you can feel them.
Yes.
No, and we're not gonna have sex. It's the biggest freedom in that moment. No.
You see, there's exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Just this.
It's just
It's
this.
just this.
Exactly.
Feel free.
Yeah, exactly.
And everything drop and you just relax.
Exactly. And you see, that's why I think there comes the conversation, the loose conversation. You know, that's that, you know, that your hairdresser knows your biggest secrets. It's true.
Yes,
do you know
of
what I mean?
course.
It's true. And it's not, I suppose, like in every profession, you get levels of consciousness in, your electrician can be very conscious, right?
Yeah.
Or he can't. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying is, so for me, the magic of the connection with my client is exactly that.
Yeah.
Where I'm holding.
Yeah.
And she's safe. I'm asking nothing of her.
Yeah.
Except her.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Without an orgasm at the end.
Yes.
Or are you coming or am I coming first?
Yeah.
Who's coming first?
Yeah.
None of that.
Or what's gonna happen after
Exactly.
this?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It
What you gonna do for
stays-
me?
Right.
It's just and because you know that you know what you're holding in that moment.
That's right.
That can just drop into your
Exactly.
hand, and it's like,
Exactly.
oh my God, I can just tell you how I feel about myself. What are my fears? My grays are showing. I like them. I don't want them. I
Yes.
want them. I'm scared of them.
Exactly.
And it's not that you have to fix it even.
No,
they
not
just
at all.
tell you,
Yes.
how am I feeling? And then what you do, how can I meet you then?
Exactly.
I hear everything.
Exactly.
Let's see
Yeah.
how can I meet you?
That's right.
And how can I support you?
Exactly. And so there's that putting the woman in a place, or not even putting, we're inviting her to feel in that chair, in that moment. She's seen and she's heard. And then the sculpting begins.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? So that's all
Stunning.
that's the flow. That's
Yeah.
and the fact that at the end there's this beauty. Do you know what I mean? I am so blessed to finish off each session with this moment of reveal.
Yeah.
Where she's like, oh my God, I look beautiful. I feel beautiful. I've just come out of a space where I was seen, heard, and look what I got.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That is the beauty of what I do.
Yeah.
That's the gratitude I have for what I do. And I mean,
because ultimately, I mean, in tantric term, also the feminine is she that is being seen.
Exactly.
Shiva puts the seed of creation, but Shakti, the feminine, becomes the form.
Right.
So that's why we use the naked female form to inspire seduction. And that's why there are more women than men. I mean, now there are also more men that are very attentive to their form. And you are a beautiful man that really express the attentiveness to your form, but you express your feminine way. And so for the women to be seen, it's a very important piece to be in the world and add beauty. We love doing this.
Right.
And any woman that says, oh, I'm only doing it for myself. Yes, true, for yourself first, and then, like with everything that is done in true alignment, for the world too.
Exactly.
Because you love to seduce the world, and the world love to have you,
Exactly.
And there is that piece that women struggle to acknowledge, but when they're in intimacy, they'll say, hell yes, I love to seduce.
Well,
that's why I spend hours in front of the mirror,
right.
and there is nothing wrong with that.
Not at all.
When it's not done with manipulation, like I'm going to seduce the world because I want something from them.
You see, that's it.
But it's done after this session with you, where I connected with my deepest place.
Yes.
And here I am, finally revealed, and now I walk into the world showing my innermost tenderness and revelation.
Exactly.
I love it.
Well, totally,
and
right?
we feel amazing.
Well, that's the thing.
And I'm sure that every woman listen agree with me.
Yeah. No, I do. I agree with you.
Yeah, and you feel it in your body too.
Exactly.
When you see them walking out of here,
totally,
they offer you that peace. That's when you say.
Right. There's an exchange. You see, it's a circular motion. It's, you know what I mean? That I give. I do, but what I get, that moment of, that's why, because in the industry, I'm a bit of a guru, like a bit of a, I push boundaries. I'm not about teaching. I'm about bringing out. Do you know what I mean? So when in my world, I'm very well known for, pushing the boundaries on, you know, how we do what we do, right? Like
Yeah.
you do in yours. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
we all do it, but let's just go a little bit past what we
Yeah.
know, right?
Yeah.
And I think for me to have that, you know, I often get asked, well, what clients do you have? Do you know what I mean? Because, you know, they think maybe all I do is models, you know what I mean? You know, because I've done Fashion Week New York and all this
Yeah.
kind of stuff, right? And I'm like, no. I have beautiful, beautiful souls that happen to have hair. Thank God. Do you know
Thank
what I mean?
God.
Exactly. And that's how I get blessed by having these women that walk into my salon, that it's a magic moment when I get to serve them in that hour, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours. And at the end, there's this moment where she leaves, where she's truly, truly spectacular.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? To herself to start with.
Also, that for me, they are eroticized.
Exactly.
I mean, so little we
Exactly.
speak about the eros of the head. I do
Yes.
a lot of work around that. The eros in the face and on the scalp.
Right.
I mean, even just your lady when she washes my hair. I mean,
Right.
what the fuck? I'm lying there,
Right.
and I want to moan and howl. It's so
Right.
beautiful. Again,
Right.
when do we get that again?
Thank you. Exactly.
You know, often in intimacy, our lover goes for specific body part,
Well,
are
exactly.
often the same one,
Yes.
unless there is consciousness brought into the erotic exchange. You know, who touch your scalp and massage it,
Right.
and you have to give nothing in return.
Right.
You don't have to be
All you have to do
alerted.
is surrender to it, right?
Surrender and receive.
Exactly.
And there is all the erotic tension, and I mean, in the erotic movement, the energy starts in the pelvis, in the genital
That's
area,
right.
and then of course rise up. We all
Right.
speak of the Kundalini rising,
Right.
and then it has to move through the head. But very little we do the yoga of the scalp. I do this often, and I teach this to my student to put the hand in your hair, keep them close to the scalp, and pull.
Right.
You know, you roll in your knuckle and you pull, starting from the back of the top of the neck, going to the top of the crown.
Right.
And probably you do this spontaneously on the
Right,
head of
totally,
women.
yeah.
That little tug and pull.
Yes.
It's not
yes.
just stroking.
No,
pull,
yeah.
like
Yeah.
You know,
No,
it's like
totally.
we do with a cat.
Yes.
We do a little bit of a
Yeah, there's a
tug
moment where
and
you gotta
pull.
tick, tick, yeah,
You go
exactly.
in with the tip of your
Yes,
finger on their
yes.
tummy. There is
Yes.
soft hair, and then when they go, prrr,
Yes,
you know.
Exactly.
And I'm all the women sitting on your chair. They so you actually eroticize them. What you're doing, you're pulling the eros from
Yeah.
the rest of the body
Right.
into their crown, into their head, into their antennas, into their connection
Right.
with the invisible, also with the higher realms.
Well, exactly.
And then you see when they walk out of here, surely, I mean, I speak all this of personal experience. I was sitting in your chair last week. That's
Right,
I'm
right.
telling
Yeah.
whoever is listening.
Yes.
I come to Reto twice a year.
Yes, exactly.
It's my like meditation retreat, and then the idea of this interview came up. So, but you know, when I also walked out of here, I walked out taller
Right.
because you tugged my hair.
Yeah.
And pull them a little bit and
Yes.
stimulate them.
Yeah.
Now my neck is alerted,
Yeah.
the scalp of my head.
Right.
I am my head. It's aware,
Exactly.
and I'm like a queen. That's the
Right, because it is your crown that was worked on.
you see,
right?
it's
Exactly.
the posture of the queen.
Exactly. And don't forget as well, when you're trimming a bit and reshaping a bit and cutting, there's a lot of old stuff you're letting go of,
Exactly.
because there's a lot of storage in your hair. You know, your
Yes,
body uses your
yes.
hair and your scalp as a kind of energetic, even physical detoxing
Yeah.
kind of area. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because it can let go. I mean, you know that when you've been sick or you've had an operation or something
Yeah,
that
yeah,
has
yeah.
been, you know what I mean, toxic or bad or, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
There's your hair goes a bit like
Yeah.
and you're a bit like, what the fuck,
Your
right?
hair is shit.
Right. And then you maybe go, you know, you go in and do a big cleanse in whatever way you do that, and then you cut it away.
Yeah.
There's a beautiful kind of rebirth just in that alone.
Yeah.
And I often, you know, when there's quite a big thing, like, you know, Coco Chanel said, when a woman cuts her hair, she changes her life. And that's so fucking true. So consciously, when a woman lets go of a bit more than just a reshape or whatever, we pull a card because there's a message. You know what I mean? Because we try and put intention into whatever we do.
Yeah.
You know, so if she gets a message from the other side that maybe approves or...
This you mean literally, it's what you do
Yeah,
in the salon.
yes.
When she cuts the hair and she radically changes her
Yes,
look.
we use this beautiful set from Louise Hay, you know, this kind of lovely little tarot cards, and she gets to pull a card before we cut off the ponytail or we cut off quite a bit or whatever, you know, so that there's not just, I lost something, what are you gaining by letting go?
I gave away. Again, is the Christmas present, the true. I gave away to something, and now it's out of my control.
For something new, you know? Yeah, so it's a beautiful, it's, you know, I love what I do. I just love what I do. I just feel so, you know, there's days where I'm like super like, I'm done, you know, I'm so fucking done, okay? Because it's a, you know, it's a physical job. It's a, you know what I mean? It's, you show up for 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day, you know, whatever. But, you know, I can, you know, the way I can prove it to myself, not that I need to, but it's lovely to sometimes have that when you're feeling a bit like, what the fuck, you know, that I might not start my day very enthusiastically or happy about going to work, but once I'm in it, I fucking love it.
You remember why you're doing it. It's the same for
and it's
me.
that exchange, it's that, you know, moment of connection, that moment of, you know,
human connection,
that exchange, that
reminds my spirit what I'm here on this planet to do.
Exactly.
And we need to connect with our body.
Exactly.
And so I have two pieces for you also: the head and hair, hand and head and hair. You know how hair are antenna and our finger, the hand, such a powerful tools. And you completely use your hand to connect, and the energy you integrate with other people, you blend, and I always see finger like the sword of the Jedi from Star Wars.
Right.
You can activate, and there is
exactly.
beams of light, and
Yes,
now
totally.
they go as long as you need. If you need to touch the center of the galaxy, they go there.
That's right.
They stroke the whales in the ocean from kilometers apart. You know, they long. You can go and touch, and you can go inside a human body if you wish to. If you want to bring that awareness, and it look like you're touching their hair, actually you go right through their tissue, and you hold their heart, or you stroking their lungs, or you stroking the kidneys. You know, they go through. So I love they look like hair string, and the hair the same.
Exactly.
The
So
Rastafarian, you know, they
there we
always
go.
say they are antenna to the divine. That's why they keep the dreadlocks long. Because that's how they hear the messages from the invisible.
That's right.
And the other things I wanted to add to your HQ, it's head queen.
Head queen, I love that.
What
Give
you
me
just
fun.
said.
Exactly. There we go. I like that. Yeah, we'll have to.
Every woman can have a queen.
Exactly.
You make them a crown. You
That's
create an
right.
organic crown.
That's right.
And they feel that when they walk out of here.
That's right.
And also another things I love, and I'm promoting, everyone that listen needs to have an experience here at Retro headquarters. When a woman is waiting here for the product to be ready in their hair, or for you to be available, your assistant gave me ear pod.
Yes.
And you play the most amazing music in my ears. And what I did, I closed my eyes and I went within.
Right.
And in my growing up in Milano, in the fashion trend and all that crap, you would wait, and in that wait, you look around, you look at everybody else's.
Exactly.
You talk shit because you wada. You're looking at cheap fashion, if you're lucky, but generally gossip magazine, and you come out at self and going into this experience, how you're gonna have your hair to impress, to be like someone else, to look like someone, something, to become other,
Yes.
And there is that movement out of yourself. And when I was sitting here, the way you really understand the process, you took me back into myself. So I remember, what am I here to do? What do I want? It's like you say, you pull the card also like etherically.
Yes.
You know,
Yes. Yes.
I'm calling for my inner vision, and I see things. While I was seeing myself dancing on the beach, and when you ask me then the next phase, when I'm sitting on the chair with you, what do you want? I come from that space of inner movement, and I'm speaking from a very different place. That's not up here,
exactly.
In my ego, but it's from my tender. I've been meditating myself with my eyes closed in a corner, not alone, but with spirit, with intuition, with music,
right,
inspiration. So I mean, truly, that's why you're a guru.
Yeah.
You understand the human process, and you just give them back to the person.
Yeah.
And you are out of the way. That's the power of the guru that is different from the teacher. Because the teacher still has an agenda on the teachings, maybe, or what to bring forth.
Right.
But the guru, only the eyes are only in the student to find himself, herself.
Right. That's right. Yeah.
And you just create pocket of potential.
That's right. Yeah, that's very much what. Thank you for affirming that, because that's exactly what my intention is, and my creating a space for women to show up and just be more than, and not trying to copy. And that's also a very beautiful thing in let's speak masses now. There's a beautiful movement where fashion or identity is not based on looking like someone else. That used to be very big. Do you know what I mean? I want to look like her. Do you know what I mean? I mean, there's still, I suppose, a certain element of that, but more and more I find that there's an individual, a need to express as self, not as a copy of. And that's really beautiful. Do you know what I mean? Because that's where I work. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
I don't want you to find a way to look like someone else. Or be like someone else. It's that moment of like, this is who you are. Look how beautiful you are. Step into that.
Find who you are and enhance that.
Exactly.
So tell me, for you, erotic awakening, what does it mean to you? Do you have had an experience in your body, or what does it recall in your mind? If I said erotic awakening, or if there is a memory in your childhood when you had an experience of erotic awakening, the first moment, that if you would like to share it with us, as the eroticism in the body developed.
I think for me, I can't pinpoint a day and a moment, but for me, I think it's a difficult one to try and, because I think erotica is for me something that's very much about everything else till the act of making love. Do you know what I mean?
Beautiful.
So I think it's a connection, a meeting someone. I think I don't even remember really falling in love for the first time or whatever. In a way, I do and I don't, because it was kind of with so many people at some level. Do you know what I mean? And it never was the same. So it's not something that I can recognize as this is erotica for me. I think for me it was, I moved around a lot as a child, so I think it was meeting people and maybe fitting in or not fitting in. There was a lot of tension around that, I feel. So maybe, I think it's a very difficult question for me to answer. I'm finding myself shooting around my childhood from like moment to moment, but I think maybe I remember my body experience was actually given to me by an older cousin of mine. How funny. And she was about 2 years older. I was living with my grandparents, so I was about 8 years old. And there was this moment where I was invited by her to there was this moment of a body awareness, a body rush, a body, I wasn't molested or anything on many levels, but she was the one that maybe opened the oh my God, I'm in this body and it can feel like this and it can tingle, and you know what I mean? So I kind of remember that as maybe someone else switching something on. Do you know what I mean? That wasn't self-created or, and then I think masturbation was, I remember maybe 11 or 12, and I remember that was insane. Do you know what I mean? That was insane. And I remember so clearly, I don't know if it was the first time, but I remember it was the moment that stuck with me, where I had a moment with my own body, where I had an orgasm that was self-initiated, that was this most incredible feeling. And I was working in this little restaurant in a national park in Switzerland in the Alps. Very idyllic, very like Peter masturbating 101, without Heidi present. That was like really that moment where I was like, oh my fuck, is this what you can do?
Wow.
Do you know what I mean? Can you do this by yourself, with yourself, for yourself?
You see, this is, you gave me to split the word, because this is awakening.
Right.
Awakening to being in a body.
Right.
And the eroticism you spoke before is so beautiful, that someone else switches something on in you.
Right.
And we are somehow dependent on that someone else.
Totally, Valentina. Totally.
Although we can meet God alone in that
of
awakening,
course,
the awakening is always solo. You speak with
solo,
God alone.
Exactly. Yes.
But the erotic is depending on the other.
That's right.
That allow for that switch.
Yes.
And I love this polarity, and that is the dualism of Tantra,
right? Exactly.
The tension of the polarity, so necessary. To have this human dance.
That's right. Yeah, no, totally. And
thank you for giving me that.
Well,
I just put it into words so clearly.
You're
right
so
now,
welcome.
listening to you, to this
because
story.
it's funny that I landed up there, because there was a moment when the question was asked, I was like, what the fuck, Valentina, what do you mean? But I landed up in these two places, where one was self-created and the other one was switched on by an external human, another human. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The fact that she was my cousin, we don't really talk about that right now. Do you know what I mean? That's all good. You know what I mean? I love her. She's fantastic. But
what cousin?
You know what I mean? Keep it in the fucking family, right? I mean, seventh cousin. Let's pretend it was a seventh cousin.
That's what the family should serve us to.
And trust me, there's no, there's no abuse, there's no nothing.
No.
But that moment where I was maybe, there was a moment where I lost control, or I didn't know, and she switched something on, and I will always be grateful for that, because it was just this unbelievable moment where I could sink back into. I wasn't afraid, I wasn't scared. You know what I mean?
And it was so important.
Exactly. You see
you
that.
Knew her.
Yeah, I knew her. There was a familiarity. And I know, I didn't feel like she's going to hurt me. I was overwhelmed by what was going on, but it wasn't self-created. Do you know what I mean? I had an assistance.
Yeah.
Somebody stepped in and did it for me.
Yeah.
And that changes fundamentally your life, right? Because that's a moment that is really like, oh my God. Yeah. And I think that's why we go out and make love, and we connect with people, and we have sex with people, and we want to connect. And today it might be a look with someone, it might be a hug, it might be a, you know what I mean? Yeah. It comes in all forms and intensities now, but it has to be switched on originally.
Yes. And I noticed this, that more we grow older, more becomes so subtle.
Right.
I can have erotic experience with thoughts now,
Totally.
with color nuances. It's like,
Right.
that touch of green and my whole body, goes in orgasmic
because I think
ways.
something, the neural pathways or the erotic pathways get built and they're available to you.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah.
In any form or shape or size or time.
Yeah.
Right?
And I also want to say that you are an erotic experience, Reto.
Oh, thank you.
You might not know, but you are when I asked the erotic awakening and I was watching you work in your memory, I was sitting here with you thinking, you are an erotic awakening. The way you are in your body, it's so electrifying to be with, because you are so present in every aspect of your being. I mean, I can look at your body endlessly, and the way you've changed in time, and you are always embracing fully yourself in so many different expressions: long hair, short hair, moustache, not moustache, the ear piercing, the tattoo, the nail painting, not the nail. In the years we've known each other for long, and we've been through styles. Same with me, the fringe, not the fringe.
Yeah, the dreads, not dreads.
The grey are
blue,
coming
not painted
now.
blue.
Yes, they both
totally,
natural skin tone.
Exactly.
We both done it, and perhaps I see a lot of me.
Yeah,
in
well,
you.
I do, and I honor you for that. And I think if we, if we have connections, and we look for the connection in others that is maybe not about, I need to fuck you to connect with you.
Yeah.
There is so much available to us. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm also blessed to have an incredible partner in my life that totally understands that. Do you know what I mean? She can see it for what it is, that I have these incredible connections with people, women every day that don't threaten us.
Yeah.
Because it lives in a different realm. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, with life. You're a flirter.
Yeah, I flirt with beauty, with life. I'm a lover. I'm a Don Juan of hair.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? That's what I do, but it doesn't mean that and you see, I think that is the beauty where there's no, that's maybe with you as well. I don't know. I've never had a tantric session with you, but there's no expectation.
You're having one right now.
Right, exactly, actually. What the fuck? And I'm loving it because there's no, you know what I mean? We're so outcome driven.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? We are so like, where is this going? What am I going to get out of this? What am I going to give you? I'm going to show you.
Yeah.
Where we are now, when you can just let it be in each breath for what it is, orgasms can be a great blow dry.
That's brilliant.
Do you know what I mean? So I think we need to reevaluate.
There's a lot of breath there.
Right, there's a exact hot fucking
breath.
air, girlfriend. So you see, I think that's maybe what the message is to.
It's a hot blow.
It's a hot blow, baby. It's a wash and blow, actually. You know what I mean?
You got it all here, right?
Right, I know, right? It's in the space.
There is everything.
There's everything. So, I think to really maybe sum it up is the blessings that we have. Just the fact that this manifested, that we can sit here and talk like this. This to me is like, I feel like I've had the most wonderful hour with you that had nothing to do with sex, but I feel it was exotic, erotic, gentle, beautiful, funny, tense. It was all of that.
It's got everything to do with life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How beautiful
and seduction. I mean,
totally right.
I feel
I mean,
I
yes,
feel the space we are in.
Totally.
My body is really electrified.
Totally. And there was a moment of very, like a bit of unease at the beginning. I was like, oh my God, what the fuck is she going to ask me? What am I going to say? And how honest can I be? And I've just been able to totally be.
Yeah.
And I think that's how. If all you get is you get up from listening to this and go, you know what, I'm going to go out and make a connection. I'm going to be seen. I'm going to be heard. I'm not just going to be looked at and listened to.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah.
And if there's that little touch on your arm from some stranger, feel it.
Yeah.
Have it.
And stroke each other's hair.
Exactly. And touch each other's hair. And, open up and let it be and, be fearless, really, in showing up as yourself. And
hot blow hair. Lots of breath.
Lots of breath.
Tip of the finger on hair.
Yeah.
And let's really communicate
right.
as human beings,
right.
meeting each other. And allowing for the invisible to be too. The erotic
Very much so.
connection.
The invisible to be seen and
Yes.
felt and
Yeah.
acknowledged, So I love you so much. Thank you
but
for this
before-
amazing moment.
Yes, before we're gonna wrap up,
Yeah.
I've got the very last question for you, and
Yeah.
it's a question I end all my
Yes.
podcasts with. It's a childhood memory. It's a question I used to listen on TV when in the late night of my teens I was watching this late night interview session in the 1990s, very dated.
yes.
But that question, it's a question I end up asking myself on repeat throughout my
Right.
whole life. So I've decided now to bring it up to all my guests. Yeah,
Right.
it's a sharp question. Just feel into it. It doesn't have to be too thoughtful.
Right.
And here it goes. Is life a dream, or dreams help us to live better? Is life a dream, or dreams help us to live better?
I think life is a dream. Life is a nightmare. Life is everything.
A wet dream.
A wet dream. Hopefully, if you're lucky. Yeah, fuck, I haven't done one of those in a long time. I think you don't. I think you have to be like non-sexually active to have one. I think because if you are, they're very rare. But anyway, no. You know what? I think life can be a dream, can be a nightmare, can be all of the above. And dreaming your best life is very important, as you can nightmare your worst life. So, I just think for me, it's about as long as you can accept that sometimes you'll be going through a nightmare and sometimes you're living your dream, you're living your best life. I really think so.
Wow, beautiful.
Because I don't think you can have either or the other steers the other. You just have to be present in all of it, as joyful and exotic and erotic and orgasmic as much as it can be horrifically painful and sad and tough. But you know what? Live life. Viva la vita.
Viva la vita. Thank you. That was really
Thank you.
beautiful.
Thank you.
And we're gonna close with this.
Thank you very much.
I love
You.
spending this time with
I love you so much.
And I'm gonna come back
Yes,
again.
yes, of
And we'll
course.
see how we change
Yes.
and grow.
Yeah, that would be great.
And for everybody that wants to connect with Reto, I'm gonna
Right.
put your website, your link, or
Yes.
although you wanna
I think just my
something
Insta.
right
You
now.
know what? I think if you want to connect with me, the one social media platform that I'm working quite strongly with and on is Instagram, Reto Camijo, and Facebook a little bit. And yeah,
So
just
Insta, I'm gonna put
Insta. Just
your
put my
your
Insta.
link in the comment of
And
this episode.
yeah, and I'm really getting this implant at the moment that Valentina Love and Reto Camijo will be hosting some kind of amazing workshop at some stage.
Yeah.
So
do
let's
that.
put that out there as well.
Head queen.
Head queen, exactly, exactly. So So you know what?
Yeah.
Just gratitude, attitude. I love you. Thank you
I
for
love you.
showing up.
Thank you
Thank
so
you for
much.
taking this moment.
And thank you for being with Erotic Wisdom and helping it grow. And
I wish you
everybody,
all the best of success.
Thank you.
And really, thank you.
bless you.
Likewise.
So for everybody that is enjoying listening to this show, please do rate me on iTunes, add some stars here and there. We love the stars and would really help me to be visible and out there and to make this program wider and spread further. And if you have any comment, any direct question, you find me on eroticwisdom.org and you can find your way directly to me, and I'll be available for feedback, suggestion, or anything you want to share with me. I love you. Stay beautiful, stay loving, and remember, delete Christmas. Buy yourself a black Christmas tree and find some eroticism in this sometimes very dry holiday.
Yeah,
Ciao.
Ciao.